Welcome to 360-degree machinery. We're going to do a walkthrough of a Kundig 53-inch Brilliant Duplex wide belt sander. If you stay tuned for a couple minutes, we're going to show you all the features of this machine, and this one is pretty loaded. This machine is in excellent condition. It has an amazingly low 459 hours on it. As you can tell by the outside, it does have an 8-foot long conveyor, so it is a pretty special sander, and there's a reason for that, and I'm going to get into that in just a couple minutes. First of all, we do have the throat opened to the max opening, which is 8 inches. As you can tell, like all Kundigs, the top raises off of the bottom. The conveyor is stationary. This does two things. First of all, it holds tighter tolerances, stays true longer. It's easier to adjust the sander, and the benefit you get also is that you do have this fixed table, which is always nice to have the same table height. We're going to lower it to about 4 inches or so. If we go into the control panel here, you're going to see, you double click F1. Total machine hours, 459. There's other controls in here, but we're going to get into that in a couple minutes. First of all, this machine does have a vacuum bed. Go ahead and turn that on real fast. The conveyor was probably dressed the first time when it was installed by the Kundig technician. Other than that, it has not been dressed. There are no nicks or imperfections in here. And as you can see, it's just a really beefy, it's a really thick belt on there. There is your vacuum blower. And right now we're going to go up and show you that it does have a brush on the last station. So, and as you can see, it's pretty much like new. It doesn't really look like they used it. But that brush does exist. While the sander's open on the end, we'll let you see that. This also has Enter-O-Matic and Smart Select feature. That Enter-O-Matic, basically what you do is you come in here and you hit this button. As you can see, the sander's lifting up. That's because I'm holding the button. And what you do is you hold the button until it opens up wider than your workpiece. When you slide your workpiece in, we'll demonstrate using my hand, it's going to lower, and it's basically auto-calibrating. You use that auto-calibration in combination with the Smart Select. So you double-click this, and as you can see, there's different modes that you could set these presets for. You've got your solid wood, veneer, lacquer, sealer, and a myriad of other settings, so this way you can get back to where you were. Double click that. This sander really does excel in veneer, lacquer, sealer, and solid wood. And right now we're going to open up both bays and show you what's inside this sander. First of all, you're probably noticing this is a rather long sander for a dual head. It's got an 8-foot long conveyor. It's 9 foot 3 inches from the front roller to the rear roller. I really do like long conveyors. The longer the conveyor, and especially in combination with a vacuum bed, means that you get a better finish quality. I mean, there's no doubt that that longer space allows your material to sit flatter. As you can see, it does have the optional 2 oblique heads. In normal sanding machines, what you do is you have a head set up just like this. It's basically parallel to the sanding belt. So when you take your substrate and feed it into the machine, all your imperfections from that sanding belt are going to go directly, being that everything's parallel. Any imperfection in the belt coming downward and spiraling around is going to feed directly onto your workpiece. and it's going to affect your final finish quality. I mean, it's just, we all know it. Also, as you know, you can get tracking lines, and the memory in your platen, the graphite in your platen, those lines will also follow through to your workpiece. What's interesting about this technology is that if we just come in here, you can take this head and you can tilt it 10 degrees. And now you are no longer running parallel to the feed mat. As you can see, you put your workpiece in. It is no longer parallel, it's offset. So now you're no longer sanding parallel to your sanding belt. What that means is those imperfections do not come through. Those imperfections in both tracking, the imperfections in the memory of that platen, the graphite on your platen, the imperfections in the belt. Another benefit to this technology is that you get 25 to 40% longer life out of your belts, because if you do get a tracking line, you can go from straight to oblique and you can basically sand opposite of it, and you can use a belt that does have an imperfection and not have that imperfection come through in your workpiece. It just basically eliminates it. As you can tell, one of the things that's really nice about the sander, it has dual oblique heads. The other duplexes I've seen did not have both oblique heads. Both these heads are basically turned 10 degrees towards each other. So they're basically inverted amongst one another. So basically you have an oblique into an oblique. So there's just a lot of options there. You're going to get a really long life out of your sanding belts, and on top of that, you're going to really have a lot of options and say in your final finish quality. Besides that, you're going to notice that if you're looking, you're probably already noticing that it looks like two combination heads. And you also do have dual segmented platens. Now another thing is like everybody knows with segmented platens, is those segmented platens are really great, but they can also leave lines as well. And as you can imagine, guess what? The oblique heads also pretty much eliminate those lines that you do see from segmented platens. As you can see, they were using the segmented platens, and you can see the ribbing on here, and that does not follow through to the workpiece, so it's a thing of the past. It's a really great patented technology by Kundig. On this first head, you do have several modes. If you look, I just hit it into the first mode. What that basically means is that you are in drum only mode. So right now you are just using the first drum just like you would a traditional sander. We're gonna go ahead and hit this again. Now you have engaged the platen. So basically what you're doing right now is you're using as a combination head. And your third mode, I'm gonna hit this again. Now you are just using just the platen. So basically you have three modes. You can use just the front drum, the drum and platen combination, or just the platen. So you really do have an array of adjustability there. And then of course you could turn your back head on. On your back head, you do have, again, that segmented platen. You've got a smaller helical head rubber drum. It's got a tighter rubber on there for finishing. The grooving is actually small and a faster spiral. And again, you can dial in a couple thousandths up and down. On this first head, you do have a 7-inch drum up front. Both the drums are in great condition, as you would expect. And you also do have that segmented platen here as well. So this machine does have two segmented platens. If we go up top, you're going to see that you do have air blowers on top. So basically up here you do have your air blowers. Of course, those are on both heads. It's going to keep your paper nice and clean. Go ahead and close this up real fast. If we come up front, you're going to go into this control panel and you will see that basically you have all of your controls set. You have your segmented platen controls, you have your vacuum bed, that back brush, overhead blowers, those are all there. Also, what's interesting about the sander is you can control the feet per second of the first and second head. Now that's different than the feet per minute of the conveyor. You can actually change the feet per second of the actual heads. So that's actually another interesting feature and gives you more control over your sanding, as you can imagine. Pull this workpiece out real fast. We'll start that, let's just start that second head. As you can hear, it is a really quiet machine. Right now it is running at 9 feet per second. We're going to turn that up. You can see the assembly to those oblique heads. Basically the whole motor does shift back and forth and is on a swivel mount. The oscillation on the back head is a little bit faster than the front head. We'll go ahead and stop that. We'll engage the front head. That front head right now is running at .21 feet per second. Little bit slower oscillation. Excuse me, let me open that door. As you can see, it's a really full-featured machine. Gives you total control over your finish quality, whether you're doing solid wood, veneer, lacquer, or sealer sanding. Low hours, only 459 hours. If you have any questions or comments, you can reach us at info@360degreemachinery.com or give us a call at 630-229-6705. Again, thank you for tuning in to 360 Degree, helping you buy with confidence.